humble even with a 26-1 record as he works on a second national championship. Coker's formula includes the influence of the city's strong Latin community, from center Joel Rodriguez. Success off the field embodied by academic All-America linebacker Jonathan Vilma. Throw in the senior leadership of wide receiver Kevin Beard, MVP 2 weeks ago, despite no catches in the game. And the perspective of a Frank Gore, for whom graduation takes priority over draft status. And the sum of these parts may again be unbeatable. Miami may again have national championship potential. We'll get another glimpse at that tonight. ESPN2 prime time college football from the Orange Bowl, as the Hurricanes play host tonight to the Pirates of East Carolina. And welcome to Miami. Dave Barnett, joined by Bill Curry, Craig James. Miami comes in at 2-0, number 2 in the country, after the second biggest come-from-behind win in the history of the program. 23 points down in the second half last week here against Florida. They still managed to win at 38-33, somehow managing to, Bill, despite committing 16 penalties along the way. So Larry Coker has made great progress with this team. There's still a ways to go.
He's trying to make progress in all areas, and I was at practice Thursday. He will not put up with these excessive penalties. It wasn't very long ago that Miami football was known for combat fatigues and a renegade image. No more. When Butch Davis showed up in 1995 with Larry Coker, there was a humility and a dignity about the program that they have instilled while continuing the great winning tradition. And Craig James, it seems that they've done it with just flat-out good people.
They got great players. They got speed. They got class. You know what happens here is the officials sometimes start looking for the yellow hanky to come out of their pocket, expecting a player at Miami to maybe do something wrong. This ball game here tonight, it's all about perfecting their play. You know, Miami's trying to win a national championship. You can't do it making 16 penalties. Coker knows that, and so do the players.
Believe it or not, East Carolina is the team on a streak in this series. The Pirates have won the last 2 meetings with Miami. Sebastian and company are here. We're ready to kick it off next from Miami.
Some gasolines.
As we welcome the 4th member of our crew on the bus tonight, Rob Stone.
Dave, continuing with that family atmosphere here at the University of Miami, there is a hierarchy to sitting on the team bus. We're at the back of the offensive bus. This whole area owned by the O-line. This, the place to be. The prime seat, usually reserved for the starting center. You get 3 seats. But what if you're a youngster and you're starting on the offense? Seniority rules. You got to move up here and double up with one of these seats. Needless to say, you know, those skill guys, they sit in the front of the bus. They don't mess back here. And Dave, coming up a little bit later in the broadcast, we'll have some back of the bus stories for you.
Oh, I hope. Yeah. You tell the clean ones.
Yeah. Are there any?
If they exist.
With offensive linemen, they're always clean.
And I'll tell you what, Rob would not be allowed in the back. You know what? Think Rob could ever? Think those linemen would let him go out there?
You wouldn't either.
No
Tailback. Ponies aren't allowed back there.
Oh,
with the,
man. Hey, I used to hang out with the offensive linemen. They like me. Yeah. I love them. I took care of them. You guys would have loved me too.
You were smart.
John Thompson, a new head coach, 48 years old next month. And what a rocky beginning he has experienced. Opening losses to Cincinnati and West Virginia. And tonight he gets the number 2 team in the country on their home turf. Miami has won the opening toss and elected to defer. So the Pirates will have first crack on offense tonight. A team that has traditionally been very competitive. They've become fixtures in the postseason in recent years, but Steve Logan let go after last year. And it has not been a smooth first month for John Thompson. Jet with the kick, Marvin Towns with the return, and he is bobbled up inside his own 10-yard line. That's how the first month has gone for the Pirates. They have junior quarterback Desmond Robinson out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Not flashy, but very steady, very accurate. In fact, a school record 81% through the air in the loss to West Virginia last week. So he is, along with these Bud Light starters, in there for the Pirates.
And Terrence Copper, number 7, is the leading receiver in the nation. He catches a lot of hitches, and he's expected to be doubled at some point, meaning that the other skilled people will have to be bigger factors. 23 catches on the year for Copper.
23 catches, and no other Pirate has more than 4 catches. So it's a very top-heavy passing attack. Robinson to Copper. So from their own 9-yard line, Robinson with a give to Towns, looking for room left side, will lose a couple. Already a great demonstration of the traditional team speed for the Hurricanes. Up front for East Carolina, they start 4 seniors, probably the best of the bunch. Brian Rimpf, a preseason All-America, a member of the AFCA Good Works team, very active in the community.
How about Vince Wilfork on that first play right there? He didn't make the tackle, but he just absolutely blew through the East Carolina offensive line. He's the big man up front I'm watching tonight.
Well, he's down to 335.
Small man.
On second down and 11, the Pirates go with 3 wide. And again, it's Towns for no gain. 3rd and long coming up. Linebacking core, all seniors for the Hurricanes. And Vilma, as we said, not only a starter in the middle, but an academic All-America in finance. First team All-Big East twice since replacing All-America Dan Morgan. In their secondary, this is the pass defense that led the country last year. Everybody's back, led by Sean Taylor, first team All-Big East as a sophomore. Vilma plugging the middle. They gave Towns a yard, so it's 3rd and 10. And the first pass of the night is complete to Richard Horrigan, who is downed at the 16-yard line. He'll come up short on his 5th catch of the year. Alfonso Marshall joining Sean Taylor on the coverage for the Hurricanes. East Carolina, not only with poor field position, they do nothing with that, and they'll have to punt from their own 16-yard line.
I got to tell you, just them having on 3rd down complete a pass, I knew it'd be a 3 and out, and that's why Miami deferred. They wanted to send a message over there.
Exactly, and they got the wind at their back, and they're going to get good field position here.
Well, one of the bright spots has been Ryan Doherty. He leads Conference USA through 2 games, a little over 44 yards per punt. Not a good one here. They need to get a bit roll, and it will be marked out of bounds at the 38-yard line. So Brock Berlin hoping that he can settle into some normalcy after his first 2 games starting for the Hurricanes were in his hometown of Shreveport against Louisiana Tech and against the team he transferred away from, Florida, last week. Junior from Shreveport, started here in the Orange Bowl 2 years ago against Maryland. Turned out to be his final game with the Gators. Sat out last year, now in charge of the number 2 team in the country. A former National High School Offensive Player of the Year. And the Canes with the offset eye and a toss sweep to Frank Gore on their first play. And the Pirates have it strung out fairly well, but Gore will still pick up 5. The Bud Light offense for Miami.
And the most valuable player in both of the first 2 games, interestingly, Kevin Beard, number 9, wide receiver, had 0 catches against La Tech, but he was such a good blocker, he was MVP. Last week, 9 catches, 2 touchdowns against Florida, MVP again.
Everywhere you look, speed at every position. Beard, Moore, Parrish, Githers, Moss, wherever there's a wideout. There is octane for the Hurricanes. On second down, Gore tries the other way and turns it back for a first down at midfield. Offensive line features 3 returning starters. Miami has produced at least 1 number 1 draft pick in the last 4 consecutive drafts. Take your pick of this group: Winston, Kerry, Rodriguez, Myers, and Butler. The East Carolina defense right now dead last in the country, allowing 361 rushing yards per game.
Not credentials you bring into the Orange Bowl.
So not surprisingly, Miami first of all testing them against the run. Now off play action, Berlin ready to go deep and has a man open. Caught! Touchdown, Roscoe Parrish. 50 yards, Miami on the board already. That didn't take long.
Good field position puts you in a posture to run a couple of plays and then check out the man coverage when you see it. This may have been called at the line of scrimmage. It doesn't matter. Outmatched Donald Whitehead, number 21, beaten badly by Roscoe Parrish, and it could be a long night for any kind of man coverage for East Carolina.
John Petty with the extra point. Roscoe Parrish with his first touchdown, a sophomore from here in Miami. Starter late last year when Kevin Beard was injured. Showed a knack for the big play, as demonstrated right here. Already 7-0. This era of greatness for the Hurricanes began in 1983 with the first of their 5 national titles. So it's a good place to start tracking all of the many areas in which they're dominant, and it's just about impossible to beat them when they score first, and it took them only 3 plays to score first against John Thompson's Pirates tonight. Barry Coker, third year, 24 wins in his first 2 years. That's the best start by any head coach in 109 years. A number 1 and a number 2 national finish. Very high short kick, and Towns, for some reason, elects to field it as he goes out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Well, you saw how easily Parrish hauled in that 50-yard strike from Brock Berlin. What did it look like? John Thompson.
What can you do when you're a young head coach, a young program, you're getting wasted, you're up against one of the best teams in America, and you get torched right away? You go encourage your cornerback. You encourage your linemen. You keep a positive presence somehow through it all. That's what you do.
And you tell them not to look at the scoreboard. This isn't a game you watch the scoreboard. You watch your performance. Take it a play at a time and see what happens at the end of it.
John Thompson, a long-time defensive coordinator, one of the best minds in the country on that side of the ball. Well, he cut his teeth on a Bill Curry staff a few years ago. Now, head man for the first time. Up the middle, there is room for Towns, and Marvin splits it out to the 28-yard line. Good for 9 yards on first down. Thompson, as we said, will turn 48 next month. Spent a year with the Gators, running their defense last year after a couple in Arkansas. You track it all the way back, and there is maybe no one who's had more influence, especially in the South, on defense in that period of time.
Well, he worked with us when Don Lindsay was our defensive coordinator, and Don is a great teacher of other coaches.
It is 2nd and 1 for East Carolina. And Robinson waiting for the snap out of the gun up against the play clock, and there might have been some movement. No flag, and Robinson goes down for a loss at the 23. So they turn a 2nd and short into a 3rd and fairly long.
You know, when I see a game like this where you got so much speed as a disadvantage, and the other team's over there just going to wax you, I would not be afraid to tell my backs we're going to line up a half yard closer to the line of scrimmage. We're going to be quicker at what we do because we cannot hold our blocks up front.
Well, there's a big problem with that, Craig, and that is that it changes all your timing. Your handoffs will be going on the ground because you work at a certain depth and a certain timing.
I understand timing, but the opposite side of that is you're on your back getting hit by defensive linemen in the backfield.
Yeah, so basically we got a problem here.
A clock ran out. Again, no flag as the swing pass goes to Towns. And only out to the 25. So East Carolina had a 2nd and 1, and they still will have to kick it away. Thomas Carroll on the tackle of Towns.
You know, you talk about the speed of a defense, the way how quickly they get to the ball carrier. Receiver catches the ball, and at Miami, what they work on all the time is getting to the football. Pursuit. All the great schools do it.
Few, if any, are as good at it as the Hurricanes are. So Doherty again to punt, redshirt freshman from Orlando. Let's have a few from Florida. Much better this time. Nose down spiral. Parrish was back, and we'll see where they track this one out of bounds. Hurricanes will start from their 28.
East Carolina making field position mistakes time after time already.
Hurricanes have it for the 2nd time tonight. They already have one on the board.
ESPN2's College Football Saturday, brought to you by Kia Motors. Kia, make every mile count.
One of those gorgeous nights in South Florida. 7-0 Miami. Hurricanes up against this East Carolina Bud Light starting defense. What a week to be without the top tackler in Conference USA. Middle linebacker Chris Moore out with a sore knee. Eric Butler gets the start. He is following a guy who had 24 tackles against Cincinnati.
Yeah, so that means Travis Heath, that strong safety, more than likely will be involved in a lot of plays tonight.
To the air on first down, and then he has the touchdown. Roscoe Parrish takes the swing pass for about 6. Chris Moore, 24 tackles in the opening game against the Bearcats. That tied the school record for a single game. Followed that up with 18 tackles against West Virginia. Last year was the nation's leading freshman tackler until a midseason knee injury. And they give him a get well week, reluctantly letting him sit to try and heal up that knee for the rest of the season tonight. Parrish gets 7 on first down and goes in motion on 2nd and 3. Pirates showing a blitz look. And stacked up on the ground. Goreville with second effort. He's going to be close for a first down. Let's welcome in the studio tonight, Matt Wine.
Thank you, Dave. Taco Bell takes us to Gainesville, Florida, where the Gators are recovering from that difficult loss to Miami last week. They've got Florida A&M and regrouping nicely. Chris Leak, Ben Troop, 21-3 Gators early.
I think everybody in this building, maybe except Larry Coker and the Hurricanes, had given that game to Florida. I know we had, and we kept seeing the scores pile up. And you look at 33-10 in the third quarter, Gators.
That's the game where Berlin, you said that he was a sociology major. I thought he changed over last week his majors to psychology. We wrote him off. Everybody did except for Berlin and his teammates.
His teammates were uncanny. The things they said, he never panicked. He never changed expressions. He just kept being a force. They kept talking about what a motivator he is.
Well, he was Jekyll and Hyde for one thing. He started that game 9 of 20 for only 71 yards and with 3 turnovers. From that point on, he was almost perfect. And one of the most amazing fourth quarters you'll ever see. Back to the air and another completion. Sonoris Moss, younger brother of Santana, one of the many former great Hurricane wide receivers from here in Miami. Richard Kuntz, one of the backup linebackers, will see some extra action there for the stop.
Berlin last week, Larry Coker really, it just shows you the wisdom and the touch of a head coach to make the decision to stick with him, because most people, a lot of coaches would have pulled Brock Berlin last week and there would not have been a comeback.
Instead, the second biggest in the history of the school in the books. Crash runs right into his fullback, Kyle Cobia. They're missing the usual starting fullback tonight, Quatrin Hill, with a slight shoulder separation. And not so smooth going on the first give to Hill's backup, Cobia. So 3rd and 5, despite 16 penalties, despite a second half 23-point deficit. And that poor start by Berlin, the Hurricanes overcome all of that and knock off the Gators here a week ago, 38-33. What effect that has to have on your confidence, something will develop tonight. Berlin on 3rd and 5 over the middle. The open man, Ryan Moore, and he retreats after it appears he had the first down. Now we'll have to see where they mark it. 8th catch of the year for the redshirt freshman out of Orlando. And he should have the first down yardage.
One of the things you worry about in a game like this, not necessarily the score, but your protection of your quarterback. And everybody says, hey, look, we're going to blow out in Miami. We're going to blow them out. But you got to worry about protecting your players. And we're talking about Brock Berlin. That's a big blow from behind.
Yeah, and Eric Winston, number 74, just turned him loose. And East Carolina's got some good players now. They can't match up with Miami, but neither can many other teams. But by golly, you look at Jermaine Duckett, you better block that big guy. He's going to do some damage to your quarterback before it's over.
Dave, you know what they told us in our meetings? The Miami coaching staff said the motivation this week for our team is they're playing for their jobs.
The Miami coaches,
right.
not 0-2 East Carolinas. Larry Coker's staff has had some experience in trying to deal with the avoidance of being satisfied, of complacency. That's one way they do it. You're playing for your job every week. That one's almost intercepted and might have been returned for 6. had the defender Markeith McQueen been able to hold on.
I spoke with Kellen Winslow Sr. during the offseason, and he said the key to his son's success was the fact when he was younger, he played in the slots. He played out wide. He's not just a tight end that lines up and, you know, goes out and does the short curl routes.
Berlien's getting knocked on his rear every time he drops back to pass. Not a good sign for Miami.
2nd and 10. Gore on the ground and across midfield to the 47-yard line. Frank Gore, who sat last year with a knee injury as Willis McGahee emerged and became a household name, and eventually an early entry into the NFL.
Kind of impressed the way East Carolina started out here. I mean, you know, they got burned on that big bomb early on, but they're getting to the football right now.
John Thompson teams are going to play very hard, that you know, and they're going to learn to line up a little bit better every week.
Felt they made great strides from week 1 to week 2, even though it didn't show up on the scoreboard. They lost big to West Virginia in their home open. That one is picked off. They come up with a Kent Neely interception on 3rd down, and the Pirates take over with the game's first giveaway.
This is just game planning here. I mean, right now, East Carolina, number 41, Neely, drops right back into the zone of the curl. On 3rd and short, Winslow is the target. He's the guy, and so Neely smartly jumped right back into that little pocket area.
Yeah, his reads are coming from right to left. Neely is coming from his left to right. And that's how quarterbacks get confused with what are called floaters. He just jumped right and never saw him.
First interception of the year for East Carolina. And Robinson of the offense just 60 yards away. Marvin Towns busts a long one down near the 30. So the Pirates mean to do something with this takeaway. A 28-yard burst by Towns, ended by Sean Taylor, the free safety.
Doug White, number 68, the center on the All-American linebacker. Beautiful job. Right in his face. Good zone blocking principles, and that big defensive line getting knocked off the ball.
Yeah, and notch 51, Vilma, those linebackers get turned. Everybody was blocked on the defense. Nice job.
Back to Towns again on the ground. And you lose a yard. That time, Taylor up on the line of scrimmage and was on Towns almost the instant the ball was in his hand. So you break one for 28. Tee it up with a 1st and 10. Next thing you know, you're losing yardage again.
Well, if you make Sean Taylor mad, number 26, you might be in a little trouble. We're looking at D.J. Williams there, the outstanding linebacker. But Sean Taylor is a 230-pound free safety that hits like a freight train.
One of 4 true freshmen 2 years ago to play on the most recent national champion. So loss of 1. Back in the eye. Play fake for Robinson. Into coverage, and the Canes take it right back, and it's guess who? Sean Taylor with his 2nd interception of the year.
Sean Taylor ranges back there like a gazelle. It's a 2 deep. There he is on the hash. His job is to take anything in this half of the field, and he runs all the way across. Quarterback has a poor read, throws it right into the Sean Taylor zone. An easy catch for the big man, except that he has to beat 2 of his teammates to the football. And Trail Roll there for the football as well.
That was the real competition. 3 green jerseys over there to only 2 possible receivers, and Taylor takes the pick, gives it right back over to Berlin on the offense. Hurricanes from their 23. And again, it's Gore testing the middle. Tomorrow night, NFL rivals collide on ESPN. Brian Urlacher and the Chicago Bears try to stop Dante Culpepper, Randy Moss, and the potent Minnesota Vikings. Bears-Vikings Sunday night, 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. And available nationwide on ESPN HD. It all starts with NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern. So 2nd and 8 for the Canes. Again out of the eye after Gore tested the middle. Blitz is picked up nicely, and Berlin has plenty of time to get it off complete to Ryan Moore. to the 48-yard line with his second catch, 23 yards, but a marker for holding against Miami, and it's coming back. So that's why Berlin's protection lasted so long against the blitz.
Alex Poe, number 63, who stepped in for Vernon Carey, was holding on 43, Josh Chilsom.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, second down.
Here's the very thing that Miami is seeking to teach its team to avoid. Don't do foolish things right there. Alex Poe does a takedown on Chilsom and takes a nice gain away from his team and gives field position. And furthermore, the team like East Carolina, everything you do that gives them hope keeps them in the game longer. And that's what John Thompson and his staff are working for.
124 penalties last year. All-time school record, 16 last week, but they overcame them. Gore chased down as he tries the left end, as we again chase down Matt Weiner in the studio for an update.
All right, Dave, Ohio Stadium hosted its first ever overtime game today. Overtime number 3, in fact, and on 4th and goal, T.A. McClendon tries to get in. No. Replay shows he was down. So is NC State. Ohio State has won 17 straight.
Why does NC State run 2 quarterback sneaks from the 5-yard line on that last possession?
Well, the first one was okay. The first one, coach, was all right, but you know, on third down when they're doing it.
The second one, I think the D lineman would probably say, and watch for the quarterback sneak. I have to agree.
The game was right there for the taking, just like San Diego State must have fell last week in Columbus. Berlin again all day over the middle. Gore nearly back to the original line of scrimmage.
Now, John Thompson and his defenses are famous for blitzing and stunting and lining up in bizarre ways. But here's a very simple principle. You're rushing with 1, 2, 3 only, dropping 8. So there's really no place. No place to throw. You're not going to get much of a pass rush. But look at the football field.
Look right here.
You throw anywhere in there, and it's liable for interception. Nice job on 3rd and long.
Ryan Monroe hasn't been needed too often. This is just his 5th punt of the season. Contact as the ball arrives and goes flying backwards. Terrence Copper hit the instant the ball comes down off the foot of Monroe.
And the poor guy that did it's number 19, Brandon Merriweather. And I say poor advisedly because Brandon took it on the chin from the coaches all day Thursday afternoon. You must learn to think out here, Brandon. Get lined up right, pay attention, do the right thing.
Interference with the opportunity to catch a kick on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
You know what? One of your old teammates, Raymond Berry, was a coach of mine at one time, and he told us, fellas, I want to have a smart, tough, physical football team, but you got to be smart. And right now, Miami's not playing like a smart football team, and that'll haunt them down the road.
7-0 Miami, but their second big mistake. They've thrown an interception. They just gave him 15 yards on that punt. What's it like right now on the Pirate sideline, Rob Stone?
Yeah, Dave, real dichotomy between the offense and the defense. This is the defense behind me. There's a lot of pad slapping, smiling, upbeat confidence, even some smack talk to the crowd behind them. On the offensive side, it's kind of like the quiet storm. They're calm, they're sitting, they're listening. A lot of coaching going on, but the one constant, John Thompson coming to the O and the D, saying, boys, keep it up, we're doing great.
So what can they do with this gift of field position inside the Miami 45, trailing 7-0. And they start with a challenge run off tackle, picks up about 4. They are missing senior Art Brown, another guy they could really use for his experience, for his leadership. He's out for the season. He'll take a medical redshirt year this year with a knee injury. 1,000 yards last year. Art Brown replaced by Marvin Towns, who picks up 4. 7 carries, 36 yards, including a 28-yarder so far for Marvin. And now Robinson having to roll away from pressure. Looks up, plenty of room in front of him. Robinson inside the 20-yard line. They'll mark him with a first down and a gain of 20.
Everything that's happening here is encouraging East Carolina. This is exactly what East Carolina and the coaching staff wants.
look at the lane assignment breakdowns, the lack of discipline by the Miami. You cannot do that. And what they preached and worked on, Randy Shannon, the defensive coordinator, is on them hard about that.
Yep.
That is 2 runs where East Carolina has really gashed the Miami defense. And now from the 20 out of the offset eye, Towns, there was a hole and instantaneously, Bill, it closed down.
We're going to take a look at the last
seconds with this group.
Take a look at the last play, and there was a stunt. 95 went inside. That's Brian Pata. So Orrin Harris, number 92, is supposed to loop out and take contain. He couldn't run fast enough to catch Robinson. Now what's happening up front too is that that offensive line, Charlie Dempsey, Doug White, Brian Fox, they're blocking the big guys from Miami, and they're starting to feel it. They're having some fun out there.
Look at them running down the other side of the field.
They're running down the field. Yes, sir.
Not the Hurricanes. They're strolling with only a 7-0 lead in the Orange Bowl through 1 quarter. East Carolina down 7, but driving.
You know, you talk about what they've been doing. They're setting up the play action pass big time. Those safeties are coming up hard. Mo Sykes, 36, is really going to work it. And East Carolina has to take advantage of that.
2nd down and 10 from the 20 as the 2nd quarter will begin. And again on the ground, Towns. We'll get about 5 out of this. It'll be 3rd and 5. Something to keep in mind for the Pirates is their kicker is a walk-on who has had the chance to try only 1 field goal so far in their first 2 games. It was a 36-yarder. So in the area where you automatically start thinking, well, that'd be an easy 3. Not necessarily. That has yet to be proven for Cameron Broadwell. So they would like, for more reasons than one, to keep this drive going on a 3rd and 5. That's no guarantee. Will Bland goes in motion, starts toward the line. That draws flags and whistles. Bland in motion, a hair too soon. In the meantime, we check in with Matt Weiner.
All right, Dave, Florida and Florida A&M. Gators at it again. Here's a name that Canes fans will remember from last week. Deshaun Wynn takes the pass from Ingle Martin. He gets in from 8 yards out. The Gators have extended their lead 35-3.
That one as expected. This one not so much. Miami gets a 50-yard touchdown pass from Berlin to Roscoe Parrish. But through an interception, committed a 15-yard personal foul on a punt, which allowed the Pirates to start this drive at the Payne 45. It's now 3rd and 10 for Robinson on the roll, throwing complete. But Will Bland, who was guilty of the penalty, run down immediately by Antrell Roll, the corner on that side. And early test now of the kicking game with the junior walk-on Cameron Broadwell.
Craig, the way what you pointed out on 2nd down there, the opportunity for play action because the safeties are filling so fast, especially Sean Taylor, they really didn't take advantage of a good opportunity.
To be a 39-yarder, his only other attempt a 36-yarder at Cincinnati in the opener. He made that one. He got 4 other walk-ons for this job, and his kick is wide right. So sure enough, the Pirates come away with nothing. And when you have the position they had at the beginning of that possession, that will really deflate that sideline. So our ESPN2 game track through 1 quarter and change. 3rd play of the game for Brock Berlin. One-on-one coverage, no contest for Roscoe Parrish. Both teams with interceptions. Kent Neely with the pick for Carolina. And Sean Taylor took it right back from Miami.
Dave, I'm not so sure that, you say they took nothing away from that series. Correct, and they should have converted. But everything they do that's somewhat positive, John Thompson's going to reinforce.
Exactly. Confidence.
Back to work. Pitch and go, and overthrown. That ball intended for Kevin Beard. That really is a remarkable story of Kevin Beard's game 2 weeks ago, their season opener against Louisiana Tech. Have you ever heard of a wide receiver who did not catch a ball in that game being named player of that game?
Well, you hear about it on running teams, wishbone teams, and things like that, but not on a team that throws as much as Miami. I was shocked. We walked in the team meeting room, and there was his picture as MVP. I thought this must be a mistake, but he did such a great job of leadership, he was awarded the MVP.
Big game last week, 7 catches, career high, 164 yards, almost all of that in the second half comeback. Not much room around the right side this time for Frank Gore. And East Carolina forces a 3rd and long.
One of the things Miami should do is establish the running game. And I got to tell you, right there, I felt like Gore missed his assignment there. I mean, he didn't see the lane. Right here, he's got a good look at the vision. Use your speed. Run past him. Get going. And he's waiting for somebody to come over there. Man, use your ability and run right by the guys. That's good blocking and terrible running.
The guy, his coaches say, turns a 2-yard loss into a 4-yard gain. Sheer quickness, great vision. What they're doing there. And on 3rd and long, Berlin hurried for one of the few times tonight. Still manages to get it off. And a strike at the 32-yard line for Ryan Moore. That's right where the first down marker was. No need to measure first down. Berlin to Moore.
Ryan Moore is an inexperienced young receiver, but this shows great presence on his part. He knows where the first down marker is. How many times do you see a play like this where the quarterback is on the move and in trouble, makes the throw, the catch is made, and it's 1 yard short of the first down? Ryan Moore got to the sticks.
Injured all spring, got a red shirt last year. First chance to go as a redshirt freshman starter. Frank Gore spins off one hit. That's more like what you expect out of Gore, and a gain of nearly 10 yards for Gore. Back to Matt Weiner.
All right, Dave, USC putting the finishing touches on Hawaii and laying it on them late. This is earlier on in the game, second quarter. It's Matt Leinart to Mike Williams, who does the rest. 33 yards worth, in fact. 62-30, or 61-32 is the final.
USC continues to sail on, probably ranked below where they deserve to be. Although, at least one team they're going to jump over. Gore a little bit short.
When Larry Coker talks about Frank Gore, he talks about his wonderful vision. And on this last run, we get a chance to see that. It's just a feel thing. This time, Craig, he did find his hole, and he hit it with authority, and then he spun off tacklers and made something happen on his own. That was Richard Kuntz, 34, on the tackle for East Carolina.
The offensive line wants a runner giving them that extra. Man, that kind of effort there gets them going and encourages them.
It sure does.
9.5 for Gore. They try him again. And he backs his way for first down yardage up to the 44. Tomorrow night, ESPN 2, your destination for Major League Baseball. Again, an MVP candidate, but again, for a last place team, you get a chance to see A-Rod work his magic as the Rangers host the Oakland A's. Involved in that heated AL West race. 8 Eastern. Our coverage begins with baseball tonight at 7 Eastern tomorrow night. The A's and the Texas Rangers.
It's a good time for Miami to put one up again. They're going to do it 6 or 8 times. That's what I'd do.
What Berlin may have in mind, too. Looking, looks up, has room. Only gets about 3 yards out of the scramble.
That's exactly what he had in mind, but East Carolina knew that's what he had in mind.
John Thompson didn't just fall off the old turnip truck last week on defense, did he?
He knows a little defense.
Yeah, he knows about big strikes. They've already seen one big strike already tonight.
And he's got a scrappy guy running his defense, a new coordinator, Jerry Odom, who has a long history of Florida Gator background. He's a good football player. I coached against him. Also a good football coach.
That open end zone. Great look at downtown Miami. Just after sunset on a warm, breezy night. Pump fake. Berlin to the sideline. A one-handed effort out of bounds by Ryan Moore, incomplete.
It's almost inevitable that following a game of the magnitude of last week, you're going to be flat. And they've tried to work through that this week. The ball was laid here. Moore gets outside him. The ball needs to be there right now. Safety's not over there. That was just poor timing on execution of the pass.
Goes over the other shoulder. At least he has a chance to run under it. That's 6. It's as easy as Parrish's 50-yard touchdown. Instead, 3rd and 7. Canes up just 7-0. Despite a 121-69 edge in total yardage to this point. Over the middle. And Moore with the catch. Berlin again converts a 3rd and long. 16 yards.
We talked about East Carolina's challenge to stay in the game, to keep making plays. Don't worry about the scoreboard. Stay encouraged on the sideline and on the field. The challenge for Miami is to get sharp and to get back and play your football game and not be thinking about last week and not be worrying about what's going to happen somewhere down the road against a bigger opponent.
Randy Shannon, defensive coordinator, was talking about his guys on his side of the ball that it would go for the offense too. What better motivator than to be playing for your starting job every week? He's now Gore for about 8. He is getting into his rhythm. But that takes the focus away from the scoreboard and onto your assignment every down. And as a coach, is there any better motivator than the threat of the bench?
It's the one thing they fear the most. Kellen Winslow there becoming an outstanding blocker right before our eyes. We've known what kind of pass catcher he is, but in this 3-3 defense, he has to look up a linebacker. That's Kent Neely, number 41. He just walks him down the field.
Do you see how he uses his upper body to leverage it?
Yep. This guy was a former receiver.
Gore with 7, 2nd down and 3. Smacked down for a loss as Travis Heath and Kent Neely get penetration.
Now that's a smart call by Jerry Odom. It's an old wide tackle 6. Blitz off the corners.
Now on 3rd down, this is where East Carolina needs to think, oh, the blow. Now on 3rd down, they need to make a play. They can't get off the field. They're getting to 3rd in good situations, but they can't finish it off.
Doing a good job on 1st down by and large. And they've been struggling on 3rd and long. And this is where Berlin seems to say, okay, now I got to do something. There's a special alertness here.
4 receivers set in the shotgun on 3rd and 7. Pirate blitz is picked up. Incomplete with 2 flags down on the coverage for the Pirates. Mickey McCoy singled up against Ryan Moore, and 2 different officials catch him with interference.
I got 3. They threw another one in there. Another guy want to get in the party.
Might as well make it unanimous.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
These are killers. These keep drives alive. You just keep playing your coverage. And maybe he stumbled and it was inadvertent.
That's what I thought.
I think it's sort of a chintzy call myself. I'm not sure he did much to interfere, and I'm not sure the ball was catchable, but nonetheless, it was a foul and it was a mistake. You got to stay on your feet.
When you do that, especially with a 3rd down stop, and you are just begging Miami to turn it into points. Inside the 10, and it's 1st and goal at the 7. 12-yard ramble.
Well, and I busted in when he didn't run past the defense a while ago and didn't find the lane. Got to give him his love right now, because this is running here behind your shoulder pads. Dip them, take it to him, covered up. That's beautiful execution. Nice job running the football.
12th play of the drive coming up. Could not have had a more untimely penalty than the one Mickey McCoy just picked up. Taking the punt. 1st and goal. Gore into the corner, all the way down to the goal line, and did he quite get in? Not quite. He's inches shy.
Kellen Winslow modeling his dad in the blocking category now. We all know about his receiving, number 81 right there. Sort of gets popped at the beginning, but he is persistent, if not particularly strong, on Josh Chilson.
And you know what he's doing is there. You always teach your guys when you're coaching them is to turn your butt to the hole. He gave the running back the lane where he was supposed to go, turned his body to it. I like that. As a runner, I want to know exactly what he's doing.
See, a defender can knock you into the hole when you do that.
Not if you're a good blocker.
Pads still. You better not say that to Vince Lombardi.
Second and goal. Inches away. Gore, no problem going in. Standing up this time. 13-0 Miami. And they don't need the help that East Carolina gave them on that drive.
No, and the East Carolina staff can get their players in the team meeting when they do that Sunday or Monday and show them on tape, look, we gave them this touchdown opportunity. We had them stopped. We couldn't keep our feet, and we gave them another chance.
Open that door just a crack, and they will sprint right through it as they did 2 plays after the pass interference. Not sure why they have a delay before they're allowing the snap, but Frank Gore celebrated another touchdown, his 3rd of the year.
Man, I think he got the official a little bit upset there.
Well, it may have been ejected.
Yeah.
That may be it for the Cannon tonight. Let's go down to Rob.
Lay, my brothers from the Sigma Chi fraternity, they pop off a cannon after a score, and they popped it off right near the base official there. Blew his eardrums out. He didn't take a liking to it, so he's telling them, guys, you got to move away from the back of the end zone. So much for traditions.
Double secret probation for those guys. Now for the extra point. John Petty, it's 14-0. Frank Gore, 2 carries after Mickey McCoy extended the drive with pass interference. One to get it inches away, the other to take it in standing up midway in the second quarter. The Hurricanes 14-0. Well, clearly the Sigma Chi's are ready for their close-up now after being ejected from the field. This is where they always have this cannon, but this official apparently not used to it, not ready for it.
Well, he has one eardrum now.
And not in the mood to hear it anymore tonight.
That's good. Get out of here.
They got their Sigma Chi shirts on. They're probably Phi Delts over here with Sigma Chi shirts on to get somebody in trouble. That old thing about boys will be boys, it is true.
Yeah, but I don't like those cannon shots all the way up here. Spots, much less 10 feet away. Kind of go with the official on that one. East Carolina, DeMarcus Fox, a nice return of the kick after they fall down 14-0. Midway, second quarter. Tomorrow night, our matchup on NFL Sunday Night Football, the Bears and the Vikings. It'll all begin with NFL Primetime presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern, and then at 8:30 Eastern, the Bears and the Vikings kick it off on ESPN and ESPN HD. Randy Moss, Dante Culpepper in action against new Bears quarterback Cordell Stewart tomorrow. Again, East Carolina, its own worst enemy. A nice return by DeMarcus Fox. Marched back because of holding to the 16. You have to come here thinking we have to be perfect to even stay in this game. And they were in it for a quarter and a half, and now the mistakes all are costly.
That's right. Too many mistakes, too many little things that turn out to be very big things. Grabbing cloth, wrapping somebody up instead of blocking properly. And John Thompson has said 99% of our problems are in the fundamentals, tackling, blocking, penalties.
They spent this week, in fact, working as if it was a August 2-a-day session instead of getting ready for the number 2 team in the country. First give to Kevin Fain tonight, junior transfer out of Scottsdale Community College. Bigger than expected crowd. This is almost a sold-out Orange Bowl tonight in Miami. East Carolina has won the last 2 meetings. They've been a while back, 96 and 99 over Miami. And they trailed tonight 14-0. Dave Barnett with Bill Curry, Craig James, and Rob Stone chasing the Sigma Chi's down on the sideline. 34 straight in the regular season. 36 of their last 37. Throw in as well the nation's longest home streak, 23 in a row since September of '99. Penn State, the last team to win here in the Orange Bowl. Good crossing pattern, good yardage over the middle for Terrence Copper. The nation's leading receiver has 13 yards and an East Carolina first down.
And he went somewhere that the Miami coaching staff and players weren't expecting him to go. Copper normally does little curl routes, outs, and doesn't come across the middle that often.
They got him in a too deep this time. Randy Shannon, the defensive coordinator, the fine defensive coordinator for Miami, said we hadn't seen him come across the middle. Well, now they have.
First catch of the night. The 4th of the year for Copper. Fain again, and here comes a flag from the secondary after a gain of about 7. Fain, one of the Floridians on the Pirate roster out of Palm Bay, Florida.
When that guy throws it from the deep, the back judge, it's usually on the tight end. That's who he's looking at.
Holding. Offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
Let's take a look. Yep, there it is. 87, Josh Kaufman, who's a true freshman, kind of got drilled, and when he did, he grabbed some cloth and pulled the guy down, and that official's looking right at him. So another self-destruct by East Carolina.
John Thompson said this week we had almost a spring practice mentality working on the basics because 99% of the problems these first 2 games have been with blocking and tackling. Early on the block. 1st and 17. A strike for Copper, by far the best pass yet for Desmond Robinson. 18 yards.
Yeah, Randy Shannon might not want to see so much of Mr. Copper. I mean,
you know, and what if you're Copper? You know, we've been talking about Miami so much, but well, Copper's the guy leading the nation in receptions coming into this game, so he wants a chance to go against the best and to show that he can get it done.
Well, the first thing that happened is that offensive line did a very nice job of picking up stunts. There was no pressure on Robinson, and Robinson's shown he can deliver the football when he's given time, and he's getting time. You may see some pressure here from Miami if this continues.
11 catches at Cincinnati, 12 last week against West Virginia, the most in 11 years by an East Carolina receiver. Move out of the gun for a pickup of maybe a couple this time for Kevin Fain.
Very encouraging for East Carolina. You get a big penalty. A holding call is a big penalty, almost always a drive killer. Well, they have overcome. Yeah, but that one was from scrimmage, so it affected the down and distance. It was now 1st and 18 or whatever it was. But they've overcome it, made first downs with nice throws and catches, good protection. That's progress for East Carolina.
2nd down and 8. Fast moving first half, just over 5 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. Robinson again with time and delivers for Copper over the middle. Immediately, though, he is wrapped up on the spot by D.J. Williams, the outstanding senior outside linebacker.
What I've noticed here, after the first series or two, the East Carolina offensive line, Bill, it looks like they're getting used to the tempo that they're dealt with.
They're picking up stunts. 69 Brian Remp, 76 Charlie Dempsey that time. Picked up a pretty well executed stunt by the front from Miami, and there was no pressure at all. Nice job. Good football.
This is the accuracy that Robinson showed last week in setting a school record, hitting 81% of his passes against the Mountaineers. 21 out of 26. Over the middle drop. Even if it's caught, it's nowhere near a first down.
That's where the coach says, son, you might as well catch the ball. They're going to knock the daylights out of you anyhow. D.J. Williams, all-world linebacker out of California when he came out of high school, who has performed well as a Hurricane.
Iverick Harris with the drop. And the ensuing coaching on the spot from John Thompson, face-to-face. So another Ryan Doherty punt coming. They come after him, bit of a low snap, and he gets off an excellent kick. And the return not bad either. Roscoe Parrish slips just as he is ready to cut that one back toward the middle and really make it a long return, as it is a 47-yard punt and 9 on the return. There's just some mystique about the back of the bus. We'll hear some of those tales when we come back.
ESPN2's College Football Saturday. Brought to you by Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. And by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Pleasant night. Supposed to be a 40% chance of rain later on. Been plenty dry so far, and a 14-0 Miami lead with 4:07 to go. Plenty of time for one last drive, perhaps for some more points before intermission. They're the number 2 team in the country. It's come with a blitz as Berlin rolls, pulls up, and throws it away into the bench. Let's check in down below with Rob Stone.
Well, guys, the back of the bus described to us as a bunch of 5-year-olds, overgrown 5-year-olds, talking trash to one another. Speaking of trash, this is the actual trash bag from the back of the offensive line bus. Why am I doing some dumpster diving? Well, what they do is they take stuff from the garage, you know, the garbage you find. They play a game called props, and they take something out and they just start singing about it or do a little improv game with it, you know, a little improv comedy acting. I don't know what they do with the chicken, and they got a Downy bottle in here too. I don't understand it.
Over the middle, complete. Kellen Winslow Jr., who probably gets to sit wherever he wants on the bus. His first catch tonight, and it's 16 yards.
You don't want to know what they do with the chickens.
I would have recommended that Rob wear some plastic gloves, though, before handling.
Yeah, you don't want to know what those linemen, and yeah, it's good. You can just show the props. Nice job.
Is that washing detergent?
Yes, that's detergent. Yeah. No lineman would ever recognize.
I can see why that would be back there with him.
Frank Gore. It's for the corner. So he's 9 yards up the field before he gets any contact at all. Let's check in with Matt Weiner.
Dave, coming up at halftime, reaction and analysis from our game day crew on the dramatic finish in Columbus this afternoon. Meanwhile, absolutely no drama in Ann Arbor as the Wolverines of Michigan announced themselves as national title contenders. All that plus 4 ranked teams losing on their home fields today, including Texas, just one of the stunners, coming up on our halftime report. Stay with us.
Well, so much for the motivation of the picture of Houston Nutt, the Arkansas coach, with the horns down sign that was on the bulletin board in the Texas locker room all week.
That stuff doesn't work.
Not much good work for Texas today. Pass thrown short. Parrish was running a fly pattern, the same one he scored on from 50 yards out in the first quarter.
Parrish misread the coverage. He tapped himself on the chest and took responsibility. That was a 3 deep, and the corner was coming out of there. Donald Whitehead was backpedaling rapidly, and he was supposed to break it out, and that's the way Brock Berlin read it. Coach Coker knows that the young receiver still has some learning to do.
Second down and 10. At 3:08 before the half. Gore in the clear. And out of bounds inside the 30. Gore chased down after a gain of 26 yards by Richard Moten.
Gore's going to get a lot of credit on this, but Winslow just had an awesome block on Neely. I'm telling you, he's a great receiver. Look at him turn and just drove back inside Neely, which opened up Gore to the outside. Fullback, too, was involved. Look at the footwork. Get on him, latch. He turned his old fanny to the hole that time, Coach.
That's called position blocking. You're supposed to wear that defender in the middle of his chest, keep your pad square, and knock him back in the end zone.
You know what I like about you is you will show up ready to hair lift somebody up here. You know what? I like that. You're ready.
But I know my body can't do it anymore.
That time Winslow lining up as fullback. The throw is too tall for Kevin Beard. Kellen Winslow as the fullback in the eye at that time. And when you think of Kellen Sr., you have to think of what he did on this very field, 1981 AFC playoffs against the Dolphins. A day where he was literally carried to the locker room after maybe in that one effort cementing himself as a Hall of Famer.
Is that sound effect a golf club hitting the ball, or is it stick them on the fingers?
Like a ball hitting two wide open hands over and over and over and over again. Maybe with some slipping. Second down and 10. And complete, and this is Kevin Everett, who may be every bit as talented as Winslow. He's the backup tight end. Junior college transfer out of Kilgore, JC, in Texas.
Believe it or not, they think Kevin Everett may have every bit as much talent as Winslow and as much as Shockey and the other great tight ends, Bubba Franks, who have preceded right on back to Rob Chudzinski, who's now the offensive coordinator, was also a tight end. He doesn't put himself in the league with those guys, but he says this guy could be as good.
Let's see if he does it on the field first, though, right? We've seen a lot of talent before.
Here comes Parrish. Little double screen. Flag is down. Parrish reaches the 10 as we wait for this indication. 2 flags, in fact. They came right as he cut upfield.
It'd be really great for East Carolina. There's a push in the back. Above the waist. If it's below the waist, it's called a clip, and that's a whole different category of penalty.
Illegal block in the back on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, third down.
Winslow's been dominating a lot of defenders today with his blocking. Right there, he had his head on the front side. I didn't think that was a bad block.
But he put his hand between the 2 and the 1. He pushed him in the back, and they're going to call that. All he had to do is keep his hands in, put his head in front, and it wouldn't have been called.
Can we disagree on this one? Because he had his head across when he made the contact, and his body was there.
I don't think he was the one that threw the flag on him.
Well, we can disagree, but you're wrong.
Oh, okay. All right, darling.
The block at the last second before Parrish turned it upfield, I believe, was the one who got the flag. At any rate, here comes Parrish again. And what a great play. Pulled down, manages to keep his balance, but they're going to say the knee did hit at the 21-yard line.
Travis Heath just sold out, got a hold of Roscoe Parrish's jersey, and that's hard to do. Roscoe is so elusive. Got him on the ground, got a knee down, and kept him out of the end zone. That's a big stop for East Carolina. That's the kind of thing that you build a program on when you're in this stage.
Yeah, he's down.
Barely.
He got out of that last week, I believe, against Florida. I mean, he made a catch and acrobatic spin and kept going.
39-yarder where John Petty is on the way, and plenty long and good. And it's 17-0. Miami had a big hole to fill at the spot where 3-year veteran Todd Severs graduated a year ago. Petty, a redshirt freshman, filling it nicely so far. Every coaching staff would like to have a problem like what Miami has had over the years, and that is a way to keep the carrot out there for a team that's used to winning virtually every week.
Too much talent. Well, Rob Chudzinski has come up with, I think, a unique system of goal setting. The first is obviously to win the game, minimum 31 points, outscore the opponent in the fourth quarter, score a touchdown every time you have a first and goal, score every time you're inside the 20, at least 4 big plays defined as a 25-yard pass or an 18-yard run.
Yeah, but that penalty on that last one did stop a drive, blocking the back, didn't it? And those are the kind of things they're trying to correct to stay away from so they can be an efficient offense. But obviously at the top, you got to win.
Well, on their way here with a lead now of 17-0. Final minute now in the first half. Robert Tillman with a return of 13 yards, and East Carolina now with all 3 of their timeouts and 58 seconds to try and get on the board before halftime. So Miami looks at their schedule when it begins, and you know that their eyes don't immediately go to the East Carolina game, especially 1 week after Florida, 1 week before a trip to Boston College, a couple of weeks away from a trip to Florida State. But as we see every week, this is the type game that can come up and ruin a season if you don't take care of some of those goals that we just listed.
It really can. And the coaching staff for East Carolina is going to make a statement to their team by the way they manage this situation right here. Normally you run a sort of a conservative thing, see if you can get to midfield and then go into 2 minutes.
Conservative, to be sure, on first down. Vontae Leach on his first carry of the night.
East Carolina slow getting on the field. Coach Thompson, again, he's got to teach them these kinds of processes, what's expected. because everything changes with the new staff. Steve Logan was a fine coach. He had very successful teams. The last year or so, this team's lost 13 out of 17 games, and there are reasons for that. And just good habits like sprinting on the field and taking advantage of every second. Now they'll run the clock out.
And they sprinted out there only to snap it twice and then head to the locker room. He only plays up the middle. That'll do it. And Miami will take a 17-0 halftime lead. 228 total yards for the Hurricanes. Fairly well balanced. Brock Berlin through the air, 10 of 17 for 129. Robinson 6 of 8, but just 40 yards passing for John Thompson's Pirates, who are trying to avoid an 0-3 start. And Rob Stone's with Larry Coker.
Coach, what are the main subjects you're going to hit on with your men in the locker room?
Well, I think, again, we just got to keep the pressure on them. We're doing a pretty good job. We've given up a couple of runs and one pass play, and offensively we were in good shape. We had a couple of penalties, but I think all in all playing pretty well. And we just got to keep the pressure on, play hard in the second half.
Any concerns thus far?
No, again, we're ahead 17-0, and I think I'm pleased about that, obviously. But you know, it's the second half, and East Carolina, we played them twice before. We were ahead 20 points at a halftime one time before and lost the game. So we know we have a long half.
Coach, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Yep. Larry Coker remembers 1999. They were up 23-3 at Raleigh. They lost that one 27-23 to the Pirates. Right now, back to the studio and Matt Weiner.
All right, Dave, East Carolina has actually won the last 2 meetings.
We're just about ready for the second half back here at the Orange Bowl. Nearly full. Dave Barnett, Bill Curry, Craig James. Craig, really, you're talking about 2 plays for East Carolina, keeping this from being almost a deadlock. You had the 50-yard touchdown pass by Parrish, and then you had the costly pass interference that led to the second touchdown.
And you have to tip your hat to East Carolina's offensive line, because I thought perhaps Miami's defensive line would come in here and just dominate them. But the offensive line at East Carolina has at least given Robinson time to throw the football, and they've given some respect to their offensive unit.
What do you see?
Good news for Miami. Yeah, only 3 penalties in the first half, which is really low for them. 3 penalties for 35 yards. 1 holding call right here, a takedown, and then 1 interference with the receiver of a punt, which is a bad one. Hitting Copper there, but 3 penalties is a whole lot better than the 8 they've been averaging per half for the last week or 2. So the coaches are seeing the fruits of their labors as they hammered them in practice this week about not making stupid penalties.
And Miami will get the ball to begin the second half. Cameron Broadwell has teed up. East Carolina scrambling back and forth, taking their time getting set before Broadwell finally lays into one. And with the wind at his back, no chance at a return. Our ESPN2 game track. 30 minutes into it. Third play of the game, 50-yard strike Berlin to Roscoe Parrish, and at that point you thought it might be Miami name your score after the pass interference kept the drive going. Gore from a yard out. It's the only other touchdown though, as the East Carolina defense continues to at least live up to John Thompson's expectations of playing hard every down. He expected the improvement to come in the fundamentals. They worked all week long on the basics, blocking, tackling. And there's got to be some progress there in his eyes. Kevin Beard, and about 13 yards on the first play of the second half. Let's send it down to Rob.
Well, Dave, Coach Thompson also working on the overall team toughness a lot this week. A lot of mano-a-mano, 1v1 drills, a lot of hard hitting. I asked him, Coach, you happy with the toughness first half? Really pleased about it. One thing that is bumming a little bit, defensive adjustments. They need to handle those underneath routes a little bit better. I said, you believe in moral victories? He goes, hogwash, Rob. We are not looking at that scoreboard until this game is over.
They come with another blitz. It's picked up, and Gore with the carry for the 3 yards. Bill, you've known John Thompson, what, 20 years? How long ago was it he was on your Alabama
Well,
staff?
16 years, and I've watched him grow as a football coach. He handled our linebackers, and he handled them well. Then he really went off to a variety of places, southern Mississippi, Memphis, and Arkansas and Florida, and did such a phenomenal job as a defensive coordinator. And he did it in his own unique style. But the basis of all his turnarounds, he says, is relationship with the players. You let them know you love them, and then you push them.
Think of a John Thompson defense. I think of the stand-up nose guard, which
you're anxious to see that.
That kind of became his trademark to some at Arkansas. That is carried by Gore. I haven't noticed that tonight, but we may yet see it.
No, he said we're still trying to teach the nose guard to play in a three-point stance. When he learns to do that, then we might let him stand up occasionally. But he did that at Arkansas with a great, big, fast guy whose name I don't remember.
You know what impressed me a whole lot about him was the fact that he went onto campus and he went into classrooms unannounced. The players weren't expecting him to be there. And he said, I'm just letting them know that I'm there to support them and encouraging them.
He's also making sure they're there.
Yeah.
3rd and 4. Winslow in motion and takes the swing pass upfield. Head knocking right at midfield, but another Miami first down and a gain of 11 yards. He ran right over Pierre Parker, a true freshman high school quarterback. He is not used to collisions like the one he just endured with Kellen Winslow. But he popped right up and ready for more. Winslow, 9 catches in the first 2 games, but only 70 yards. So does not have the home run ball to his credit yet. Their leading receiver from the year ago with a tight end record, 57 catches. Gore breaking tackles into the 35 down to the 33-yard line. Gore over the 100-yard mark now with a pickup of 16.
Miami really appearing to click on all cylinders here for the first time in this game. So far, they are winning. They've scored a TD each time they've been first and goal. Craig, they've scored every time they've been inside the 20, at least points.
Yeah, and I think the big plays, that category there is where, you know, if East Carolina's not careful, they'll end up with 6 big plays on them. You know, it doesn't take long for Miami to strike quick.
They're 8 out of 11 on their goals thus far.
19 carries now, 113 yards in the score for Frank Gore. Berlin missing the connection that time with Beard. That was a well set up play with the look to the right, the pump, and then Beard was open. Berlin just didn't hit him.
Beard's one of those guys that's allowed to go to the back of the bus. You know what? He's able to go back there at the very end of the bus and say, hey, look, guys, I'm out there. But I like the timing of this play. You know, they're trying to work it out where, you know, looked right, looks him off. He's got single coverage backside. Beard's a good football player. He's not a Michael Irvin. He's not one of those historical guys at Miami U, but he's a work ethic, blue-collar guy.
Gore up the middle, and the ball comes loose. East Carolina with the recovery at the 30. So the Pirates force another takeaway.
If you just keep fighting, this is what football teaches. All those white shirts grasping, they're getting knocked around, but they're still fighting and scratching. The ball is knocked out. Very alertly recovered there.
Joel Rodriguez, I think his own teammate's the guy who came in trying to help him out and knocked the ball out of his hand.
And Demaine Duckett, the defensive tackle, jumps on it for East Carolina.
Mickey McCoy, 28, knocked the ball out, raked it out.
And the Pirates finally turned it into some points. They go back to Towns. And Marvin Towns with a pickup of about 4. Let's check in with Matt Weiner.
All right, Dave, Kentucky visiting the Crimson Tide this evening. Nothing doing until the first. Sean Williams, who does everything for the Tide, does a 16-yard touchdown run here. It's now 10-zip Bama.
That matchup has got to tear Bill Curry in 2 completely different directions.
We don't have time
or
to talk
maybe
about
not.
it,
Vontae Leach driven backwards. They'll give him forward progress to the 35 and limit the loss to 2 yards.
I assure you that Greg Mark, the defensive line coach, got in his people's face at the half, and this time the movement went backwards. The O-line was dominated, and we got 6 guys drilling the ball carrier.
Wilfork's the guy who made the play.
The whole offensive line was knocked back. Wilfork weighs a modest 335 pounds, but everybody got whooped on that play in the white shirt.
Big here for the Pirates to get something besides a 3-and-out after their second takeaway. And Robinson over the middle, but they're not going to get enough yardage.
Nice play there by Mo Sykes, number 36, and Mo wasn't real happy with my question when we got together with him Friday, because I asked him about a bust that ended up in a long touchdown pass for Florida. And after he explained the coverage to us from 6 different angles, he finally said, okay, it should have been a 2 deep and I should have been back.
But you know what he did is he owned up to that immediately. Yeah. And he had, what we have, 4 or 5 teammates in the room.
Well, he owned up to it
right in front of everybody.
No, he owned up to it after 6 or 7 different variations of explanation. It was very cleverly done, but he was a man about it.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
And a good guy.
He's a neat person.
Now Doherty, with a wind at his back, needs a big punt here since they did not get a first down off the fumble recovery. And they fake it, and they'll get the first down. Fake punt. East Carolina pulls it off. McCoy with the catch and takes it on for a gain of 11.
On the road, playing against the number 2, 3 team in the country, you got to come out and make a play.
Why not?
Why not? On the right
Absolutely.
side, nice job of execution. They faked it, and you know, you got to finish the play, don't you, Coach?
Absolutely. Somebody had coverage on that guy. It's hard to tell who because we don't know their punt alignment, but it was probably Kelly Jennings, number 22, and he was a little late getting after him.
So a little added burst now, and the energy level over on the purple sideline as Towns carries up the middle. One more look at the successful fake punt.
Wonderful job, a nice job of passing here by Ryan Doherty, the punter. That's really the biggest risk. Completely blown coverage. That was Kelly Jennings' coverage there. Nice job of concentrating, catching the football by Mickey McCoy and getting that first down. A little redemptive action there for Mickey.
Quarterback draw. Robinson slides close to the first down. He's still shy by a yard. One of the few times we've seen tackle by Jonathan Vilma is staying away from him.
I like what I'm seeing here. You know what? They're throwing the quick passes to Copper across the middle, which they weren't expecting defensively at Miami. They're running a quarterback draw. They're not expecting that often. And you know, they're having success running the football with Towns, and that kind of little fake punt might have given them the momentum boost they needed.
Well, they need to make this first.
4 down territory for sure, and it's going to take a 4th down because 3rd down goes nowhere with Vontae Leach.
Yeah, and you get hit by Jonathan Vilma first, and Sean Taylor second, and Thomas Carroll third. You've been hit, and the big fullback just got thrilled.
When you're playing against a stacked defense, and it's Miami's stacked defense, you got to take advantage of that. You got to have a check with me at the line of scrimmage. You cannot run into 8, 9 men in that box against Miami.
Going for sure now on 4th down and 2. But they spread it out in a passing set. DJ Williams came across the line of scrimmage and made no attempt to get back. So either he tried to be as convincing as possible that he was drawn off sides, or just flat gave up on the play.
However, the offensive lineman who moved was not close to DJ Williams. He was clearly on the other side of the ball, and you're not allowed to use movement if it's more than 2 men away. You're not allowed to use that to call the penalty on the defense. So it's likely that this will be called on the offense after the conference. I'm not sure about that because the officials
don't
have to
straddle
sort
the fence
that
now.
out.
You made a good little call there. I like that. Don't straddle the fence and cover your backside.
I'm not sure about that because the officials might make a mistake.
Dead ball, offside, unabated to the quarterback, on the defense, 5 yards. First down.
Go with your first impression.
Well, that can be debated. I mean, I thought that's what they would call, but you could honestly debate it because there's movement on both sides of the ball by a variety of people. 2 offensive players, 2 defensive players, and it gets complicated.
Like Canadian football almost. So many in so many different directions. But John Thompson's argument carries the day, and the first down at the 36. The only other time East Carolina got in Miami territory to miss the field goal. Improvement in that regard tonight for the Hurricanes. That one may be costly, though. Robinson again will step up and keep. Got a nice block out there by DeMarcus Fox. And now more flags fly as Robinson heads into the thick of the Hurricane bench.
This is where you got to be a smart player.
You got to know where that sideline is. I think they call that on old Mo.
15 more yards. It's first time tonight penalties have hurt Larry Coker's team.
Dead ball. Late hit out of bounds on the defense. 15 yards. Automatic first down.
You got to be smart, and they're aggressive in the secondary, but yes, Sykes just kind of pushed him a little bit.
Yep.
Borderline.
I think that might go back to what you said at the beginning, Craig. This is Miami, and maybe Miami gets called a few more times than other teams, just unconsciously.
It's an area that Larry Coker is especially sensitive about. Towns breaking the tackle by Taylor. First and goal at the 7-yard line, East Carolina. Marvin Towns, a junior from Warrenton, North Carolina.
This is how you get a nickname, going from Towns to becoming the city. He ran through the block right there.
And you know who he nailed? He nailed Sean Taylor.
Wow.
Ran right through Sean Taylor. Nobody does that,
He
folks.
gives up 35 pounds to Taylor.
Taylor is a man. This guy is running low and hard. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry now.
East Carolina has scored only 1 touchdown all season. And they trip on the give from Robinson to Towns on first and goal. Not accustomed to being down here, but since they're there, absolutely imperative to come away with 7. Again, because the team you're playing is Miami, and your kicker is so inexperienced.
Yeah, but you're just halfway through the third quarter now, and unless you're way down there inside the 5-yard line, you take the 3 points, I think. But right now, that's not what John Thompson and his staff want. They want this thing in the end zone.
Only so many times you're going to be down this close. 11th play of the drive coming, helped greatly by flags against the Hurricanes. Timeout called by Desmond Robinson. They'll talk this over. 5:55 to go in the third quarter, and the Pirates have a chance to really make this interesting. 346-pound Vince Wilfork is not used to being on the field quite this long. Puffing and puffing a moment ago. This will be the 11th play of the drive for East Carolina. Covering nearly 6 minutes. Hurricanes flags as big a factor as anything, keeping Vince and his friends still out there on the field. Second down, quarterback drawn, closed in a hurry.
And who made the play? Number 75, Vince Wilfork, who has been the most valuable defensive player in each of the first 2 games. Now, when you're 335, that is hard to do. Bend those knees back across the face of the lineman and missed the tackle. However, he did get a hit.
And you know what? The guy he threw to the side was 6'3", 300 pounds.
Yeah, that's a little fella to Vince. Vince got a great arm, too. He likes to throw the football at practice.
A near sellout. Being heard in the Orange Bowl. Robinson scrambling, has to throw it away. So the Cane defense rising up for the stop, and they will force the try for the field goal. Didn't quite get close enough to think about a real shot at a touchdown try on 4th down. So on will come the walk-on junior Cameron Broadwell, who missed a very makeable kick earlier tonight from 38 yards out. This one will come from 26 yards. Not much angle at all out of the hold of Brian Doherty. And the Pirates are on the board. They can thank Miami mistakes, but at least they stepped up and took advantage.
Miami mistakes, good execution, and the boldness of a young head coach who is maturing into the job and learning when you take the risk of a fake and when not to.
So the rested East Carolina defense now will head out there and try and get it right back to an encouraged Pirate offense.
ESPN 2's College Football Saturday, brought to you by Acura. Experience the performance today at your local Acura dealer.
Not too far from here, the neon Art Deco of South Beach. 17-3 now. East Carolina gets a field goal off the fake field goal or fake punt that kept their drive going. A couple of costly Miami penalties. One terrific run in there by Marvin Towns, running right over Sean Taylor, and they keep the ball for more than 7 minutes and 13 plays to end the Miami shutout. They missed 2 third-down conversions on that drive. And now lead in time of possession by about a minute over the Hurricanes. So we'll have to take the touchback and start at their own 20. So a couple of surprises here. The fact that it is only a 2-touchdown lead. We're down to 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Definitely, this is a stat that tonight does mean something. Time of possession a lot of times can be misleading, but the fact that East Carolina's kept it out of Brock Berlin and company's hands more than they've had it has got to help the Pirate cause to try and pull off what would be the surprise of the year. They're within 2 touchdowns.
ESPN 2's College Football Saturday, brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer.
Here in the Orange Bowl at 17-3 Hurricanes. 5:02 to go, third quarter. And the Miami offense has been sitting for quite a while, as the Miami defense allowed the Pirates on the board for the first time. Again, Pirates showing blitzes. The give goes to Gore. And a gain of 4. Let's check in with Matt Weiner in the studio.
All right, Dave, remember last year Nebraska got hammered pretty good at Happy Valley. A little closer game so far in Lincoln. Penn State, though, on the move. Zach Mills, and look at the sticky fingers on Tony Johnson. Great catch. Next play, Ricky Upton, round left end, and in on the 13-yard touchdown. Penn State up 7-6.
A couple of crowd programs who really both need that win tonight for different reasons. First time in Miami history a back has begun a season with 3 consecutive 100-yard games. That's very surprising. Gore's done it. 119 and counting tonight. Up to the 28, and it'll be 3rd and 2. However, on the last Miami possession, his fumble started the ball rolling literally and figuratively for the Pirates. Jermaine Duckett jumped on it. The fake punt from Doherty to Mickey McCoy converted a 4th down on a gain of 11.
Borderline out of bounds hit, late hit, but they had a penalty out of bounds.
Offsides penalty. Suddenly you look up, and it's at 1st and goal at the 7, had to settle for 3. 3 straight carries for Gore, and the first down. Continues to break tackles and gets an extra 3 or 4 yards out of it.
The success of Frank Gore could not happen to a nicer guy. He's humble. You don't see him taunting or dancing over his opponents. He just plays football. And I'll tell you something else. He's been sitting over there watching Marvin Towns, who's having a heck of a night against his defense, and he's going to want to come back out there and put up maybe 200 before it's over.
Talk about numbers that say something. Frank Gore, the all-time record in Dade County history for rushing yards in the season, had nearly 3,000 as a senior. 34 touchdowns. Overcame a knee injury last year. It's his job this year. Over the middle, it's Sonoris Moss, the brother of Santana. has a gain of 13 and another Miami first down. Monday Night Countdown provides comprehensive analysis, interviews, highlights, up-to-the-minute NFL news, and live reports from the site of ABC's Monday Night Football game, along with an in-depth look at the Monday night matchup. Monday Night Countdown reviews the entire Sunday slate, updates the league-wide news, previews the coming week. Monday Night Football matchup, the Tuna returns to the Meadowlands. Cowboys-Giants at 9 Eastern on ABC. Berlin fake to Gore. Wide open the other way, it's Parrish. Needs a block, gets it from Winslow. And Parrish is down at the 30. The Hurricanes roar back 24 yards on the catch and run by Parrish.
East Carolina has been getting 11 men to the football. They played very aggressive on defense, but this time here it really hurt them. A nice job of calling plays offensively. You took advantage of the open pursuit, coach, and now you got a big play down the field.
That's right. A great job by Winslow down the field blocking for his teammate. Winslow is becoming a complete football player.
We're talking about Winslow and the Heisman in the same sentence. He says, no, it won't happen. The tight end will never win a Heisman. Gore. 25. It would be difficult. I don't know. Is it impossible?
It's not impossible. I mean, you know, if you have a great season and you're the offensive threat of the #1 team.
In this balanced of an offense, though, will he ever see the ball enough to get the numbers that
well,
would be required?
sometimes if he does enough things. I remember when Woodson won it as a defensive back and went in on offense just enough to make enough big plays. If he shows that he's going to become a great blocker in addition to a bunch of catches and a bunch of touchdowns, he'll need numbers, and the team will have to have a great year. And maybe it's possible. He starts out with a name. That's one thing that helps.
It doesn't hurt.
It shouldn't, but it does.
He's a junior who says he will definitely return for his senior year if Miami doesn't win the national championship this year. They have a timeout with 1:36 to go in the third, and they are still in a battle. 17-3. Dave Barnett, Bill Curry, Craig James, Rob Stone in the Orange Bowl. 1:36 to go, third quarter. Miami, after their timeout, has a second down and 6. And rolling, Brock Berlin. Overshoots Ryan Moore along the sideline. He was open. Not a very good toss at all by Berlin. Let's check in with Matt Weiner.
Hi, Dave, and let's check in with BYU taking on New Mexico tonight. Down to the southwest, Matt Berry to Phillip New. Touchdown Cougars. They lead at 10-0.
BYU hoping for a year like 2 years ago, not last year. Not long ago, they were right back among the most high-powered, productive offenses in the country. Where Miami expects to be as well, year in, year out, averaging 43 points in their first 2 games. Berlin, third down, plenty of time. Now he runs out of time and runs out of the pocket and is sacked back at the 38-yard line. Lance Nees and Eric Butler do the honors.
Can you believe that? I think they actually did stop them on a third down. Coach, they have not been able to get off the schneid with this thing here. Third down, they've not been able to stop them. Miami finally going to have to come out and do something different.
Yep, just a wonderful job by Kent Neely. If he'd have stayed on his feet, he'd have made the play, but he got Berlin to stumbling, so Berlin couldn't even get up and get rid of the football.
Yeah, Butler gets credit for that snack. Neely ought to get half credit. So the Hurricanes look for the punt inside the 10 now. Copper will let it go, and the bounce is killed at the 9. 28-yarder by Brian Monroe, true freshman.
I'm really impressed with Brian Monroe. He has a big-time leg. He booms them when he needs to, and he kicked that straight up to the 10-yard line. It was beautiful.
Well, Miami's own A-Rod in action tomorrow night. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN 2, presented by Nextel. A-Rod with another MVP caliber year. Whether he gets any votes for a last place team is another issue. The Rangers take on the A's at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. The hunt for October on ESPN 2. Coverage begins with baseball tonight, 7 Eastern tomorrow. East Carolina backed up at their own 9. 34 seconds with the wind at their back, and then they'll have to go to that loud closed end of the Orange Bowl. No gain here on first down. Kevin Fain on the carry. So where they are right now is the quiet end. They don't have the end zone seat set up. That's where they're headed. It's going to be a little harder to concentrate down there. Greg, do you have some first-hand memories?
Very loud.
How about trying to hear a call in the huddle or hear a snap count?
You can hear things in the huddle, but you have trouble with audibles. I mean, even playing center, it's hard to hear the quarterback.
Well, East Carolina with some spring in their step again.
Yes, indeed.
A lot of people thought they'd be down a whole lot more than they are at this point.
The so-called experts had them the biggest underdog in the country this week. And they are within 2 touchdowns of the Hurricanes, number 2 team in the country. Almost unbeatable when they lead after 3.
The University of Miami prides themselves on owning this, the fourth quarter. We saw it last week with the big come-from-behind win over Florida. And here's the man that the players and staff say is largely responsible for that, Andrew Swayze, head strength and conditioning coach. The players say you get in their head to make them work out. How do you achieve that?
Mainly just trying to coach from the heart. Really trying to push them and do my best because they really inspire me more than I inspire them. So it's kind of hand-in-hand thing.
Big stop there by Miami. You do something different. Most strength and conditioning coaches have the players lift and then run. You flip-flop it. Why is that?
I like to work them under fatigue, you know, because in the fourth quarter, that's when they playing. They don't play the game fresh. They play the game under fatigue. So, you know, I try to work that to actually help them be able to be stronger in the fourth quarter.
Thanks and enjoy your fourth quarter.
All right, thank you, man.
Well, they were all convinced that Coach Swayze is as big a reason as any that they had the finishing kick that they had against Florida last week. Going from 23 down to win by 5 in the second half. They don't get tired. Hit at the goal line, Robinson, and the ball comes loose, recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. Miami, Santonio Thomas.
Number 98, Baraka Atkins, made the hit. I've mentioned several times Thursday's practice and its significance. Baraka Atkins was driven by his defensive coordinator, Randy Shannon, and Greg March, the D-line coach, all day long to go full speed every play, and it paid off here. He beat Josh Kaufman, that is, for the safety.
I'll tell you
the touchdown.
For something else that worked at their favor down there, you mentioned it, Dave, a while ago, was the crowd noise. It is significantly louder coming out of that end zone.
And at the moment, very quiet on the Pirate bench. As the extra point by Petty makes it 24-3. Santonio Thomas Jr. out of South Bay, Florida, limited to just 2 games last year because of a muscle tear in his shoulder. Pops on the end zone fumble. Miami in control. John Thompson, the first-year head coach of the Pirates, sees his team hang with Miami within 2 touchdowns through 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter begins with disaster. But he keeps trying to keep them pumped up over there. 5 non-offensive touchdowns already scored by the Hurricanes. Only 1 less than all last year. Something they specialize in. Team that led the nation with 45 takeaways in a national championship year has 2 tonight, and that one breaks it wide open. A 3-touchdown game now. This special team's been pretty strong too. The kick coverage unit, as DeMarcus Fox returns at only 15 yards. ESPN2 game track now, just into the fourth quarter. First time ever a Hurricane begins a season with 3 consecutive 100-yard games. Score has 134 tonight. Miami so far definitely owns the first minute of this fourth quarter as Santonio Thomas's fumble recovery in the end zone makes it 24-3 Hurricanes, and a completely different feeling in the Orange Bowl right now.
And John Thompson, that's what he was trying to tell his team. You have to play 4 quarters. You can't be happy that you've made it through 3. You got to finish this game up.
From 99 on, Miami leads the nation with 38 touchdowns scored just that way. Fumbles, interceptions, returns. You don't have to get points just from the offense if you're Miami.
Got a face mask, it looks like, on number 99, Kareem Brown, who came in to spell Woolfolk. That would be another one of those damaging penalties that would give East Carolina a little new life.
And they've held down the number of penalties so far. This is just the 6th. But the 6 have been, wow, the 6 have really been obvious and at bad times.
Man.
That almost exorcist-like turns all the way around.
Yeah, he's looking out the ear hole now, and he needs to get a little bit smaller headgear. Kareem, I'm sure, didn't mean to do that. He did let go because he could have really hurt him had he continued to yank on it. But it was considered flagrant enough for a 15-yarder.
Major mark off. First down from their 36. Miami, the highest ranked opponent for East Carolina to play since 1986 when they played Miami. #1 in the nation at that time. Swing pass out Marvin Towns. The move to make the first man miss. He got around Mo Sykes and then driven out of bounds. Our Sunday night matchup, a good one from the black and blue division. Chicago Bears, Minnesota Vikings, 8:30 Eastern on ESPN and available nationwide on ESPN HD. It will begin with NFL Primetime presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern. Bears with new quarterback Cordell Stewart. Vikings again rolling out Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss.
It's a pretty awesome physical spectacle, those two.
I don't know if anybody's ever had a more awesome physical specimen of quarterback than Culpepper. Robinson rolling. And a nice pass. Strike on the run to DeMarcus Fox. Good for 16 yards. Fox came in with no catches the first 2 weeks of the season. And that, in fact, is his first of the season.
One thing that could end up being a problem, Doug White, the center, number 68, is throwing these gun snaps right at the top of the shoes of Desmond Robinson, and that's tough for the quarterback. He can't keep his full field perspective if he's got to look down and catch the ball. And I hope he tells Doug, get the ball up about belt level.
Out of the gun. Robinson and Towns almost gliding with the immediate penetration of the Hurricane defense.
Take a look now, and you'll get to see the quarterback's eyes and what this does to him. He has to look down. His vision's here. It should be out here looking at the whole field, and he has to make that catch. That's too tough for him. He shouldn't have to do that. He still makes a completion here.
Doug White out of Norristown, Pennsylvania, working on his NBA. Respected 3-year starter at center. A strike to Terrence Copper. Copper is going to be close to the first down marker, maybe a half-yard shy or so.
You know, Robinson he's catching balls on his shoelaces. He's making completions. He's a very poised quarterback.
He really is. I mean, there's some very good things for East Carolina in this game. And probably the best yet is they didn't choke when they just got drilled down there for that touchdown. They came right out and got a drive going. Now they need to make a first down on 3rd and short.
Up until last week, it was still a 2-quarterback system. Paul Trough, the starter last year, got some time, but they decided last week that Robinson would be the man. And he got the whole game tonight. Up the middle goes Towns. He will not get past the line of scrimmage, and so on 4th down and 1 with 12 minutes to go and a 3-touchdown deficit, the question isn't do you go for it, it's how do you get that yard.
Well, I think Jonathan Vilma heard you talk about him not making many plays about a quarter ago, because he's made about 10 tackles since then. I hadn't counted them, but Jonathan has reasserted himself as the All-American linebacker he is. He's a great player and he's a great student.
Academic All-America in finance, as well as first team
to go play action here.
All Big East. Out of the eye, 4th and 1. Robinson sacked on the blitz. Antrell roll. Unblocked from the corner.
Need to go play action if you can protect the quarterback. Not anticipating the corner blitz. Here came Antrell off the edge and was in his face before he ever had a chance.
And the fact that he hasn't been hit that often tonight, he had a little confidence on his backside, but roll comes in hard, quick, and gets him. And I thought on third down is when they should have rolled and got to the outside.
Junior from Homestead, Florida. With biggest stop of the night for the Hurricanes. Ball came loose into the possession at any rate, and now Berlin ready to go deep for 6, broken up. Intended for Kevin Beard, Donald Whitehead with the good coverage.
Donald knew first down at midfield. They're going to come right after me. They burned me once. They're not getting me this time. He just turned and ran.
Do you think he learned in that first quarter?
Look here.
Turn your hips down. Hey, just take off right now.
Hey,
go.
Donald, I'm with you, babe.
Go home.
I'm going to do this too.
Get to the barn before he does.
Yes.
Through the air tonight, 179 yards for Berlin, 13 of 23. On the ground, 141. That's major improvement for the East Carolina defense. Jared Payton on his first carry takes it all the way. 48 yards. And somewhere, Walter is smiling on this one.
This is just great blocking up front by the big guys.
Fullback didn't do a bad job.
Eric
either.
Winston, that's right.
Fullback comes hard, takes care of his guy, and then Payton with the vision. Caught the defense with their head down a little bit on the corner, and off to the races he goes.
And a missed tackle by Josh Chilson. Excellent block by Eric Winston, 74.
Petty makes it 31-3. Sooner or later, when you play Miami in the Orange Bowl, they're going to get you. And they are getting East Carolina. 2 touchdowns in the first 4 minutes of quarter number 4 against ECU. We'll explain when we come back. Near sellout tonight of 65,825. And boy, did they keep a roar up all during this timeout following Jared Payton's 48-yard touchdown run, which has made it 31-3. Look at this string. 112 straight games they've won when they've scored at least 30, going back to the game that really decided the national championship that season in favor of Notre Dame, 1988. Broke up what would have been a string of 3 straight national titles for the Hurricanes.
I thought you and I ate all the cookies that were in the stadium.
We tried. We must have left a couple.
Desmond Robinson sacked on the 4th down. A couple of plays later, Jared Payton virtually untouched for the touchdown, and it is finally into that blowout realm. Let's send it down to Rob.
Dave, in management development, multitasking is all the rage. John Thompson takes it to an unreal level. He has the same eyesight in both eyes, but he uses only one contact lens. So he puts that contact lens in his left eye so he can see, like the playbook, things up close, while he uses that right eye to kind of scan the distances and work the field. So, I mean, my eyes get tired just reading the book. He's got both eyes working at the same time doing 2 different tasks. That is a good talent.
Seems like that would give you an awful headache.
No, it doesn't.
No?
No, I've done that for long periods until my distance vision deteriorated. Now I need one in each eye, but they're different.
Well, he does not like what he sees now on that scoreboard.
Exactly.
With either eye.
He may want to take that contact out.
Marcus Fox with the catch. You know, Desmond Robinson has been exactly as they described him. Steady, accurate, not flashy. 11 out of 14, 77 yards. Last week, the school record of 81%, 21 of 26 against West Virginia. Came in tonight the 2nd most accurate quarterback in the country at 76%. The only more accurate thrower through the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, Phillip Rivers of NC State, who almost pulled off the upset today at Ohio State. Something in the water in Carolina.
We watched East Carolina a few weeks ago play, and we all, the three of us, we talked, we said, oh boy, dads, this team's a long ways from being even competitive. They played a lot better tonight.
It was shocking to watch them, Bill, at Cincinnati.
Yeah, you're going to watch this tape if you're an East Carolina coach, and you're going to see all the good things that they've done. The score is not going to reflect it, but this is not one of them. And sure enough, after a while, Doug White is getting a little tired. The snaps are getting lower and lower, and somehow Desmond Robinson has covered for him, and it has not cost him a turnover yet.
But you know what, though? He won't be facing guys like he is tonight when he gets down the road.
Second down throw is complete. And the nation's leading receiver again on the catch, Terrence Copper. I got the feeling talking to John Thompson that he was definitely surprised in the sense of having more of a challenge dealing with the level of physical talent than he expected. I think they weren't quite as good physically as he thought he was inheriting. But on the other hand, if anything, he's happier than he expected to be at the character and the personality that his team has. Really happy with them as individuals. Not this throw, though. Another turnover, an interception for Glenn Sharp, sophomore cornerback.
Football is such a team sport. Every play hinges on virtually every guy doing his job. That was yet another low snap. Desmond Robinson didn't have a chance to scan the field, so maybe he's getting a little tired. He's got to struggle to pull the ball off the ground, and he throws it to the wrong guy in the green shirt. That all figures in. Doug White's got work to do on his gun snaps, and that's one reason that some people don't run the gun, because the snaps are a little more sophisticated than the normal.
Sharp with the takeaway, new quarterback now. Derek Pruitt takes over for the Hurricanes. And a new tailback, true freshman Tyrone Moss with his first carry. He is out of Pompano Beach. They compare him style-wise, build-wise, to Emmitt Smith.
Look at the hold of the football here. Because of the low snap, Robinson, look where his grip is. His hand's not even on the laces there. No. I mean, that low snap just throws the quarterback into a world of hurt.
Fourth East Carolina turnover. Now Pruitt, junior from Delray Beach, with a flag down. Another give to Tyrone Moss. Moss, a 7,000-yard rusher in Pompano Beach, a parade All-America. Ike Emoti heading off after the stop. Maybe the guilty party on the flag. Fourth quarter so far for the Hurricanes started this way, with the sack of Robinson turning into the fumble recovery in the end zone for the touchdown by Santonio Thomas. Then this 48-yard burst by Jarrett Payton. And then the next time East Carolina gets it, they turn it over on the interception a moment ago by Glenn Sharp. Still on the ground. Talib Humphrey, senior backup fullback, on this carry. So Brock Berlin's night done. Pruitt, a backup to Ken Dorsey the last couple of years, is on now. He is, in a way, part of royalty. His father played on Oklahoma's 1985 national championship team. So they're one of the few father and son teams, both of whom have played for national champs, especially two different schools. That's highly unusual. Dad went on to play for the LA Raiders for a few years. Humphrey moving that pile at 6'2", 242, a load to bring down. And they finally get him at the 32.
And you got to understand, when Miami substitutes, they put those second stringers and third stringers in there. Those guys are high school All-Americans, either waiting their turn to play or they're seniors who've been beaten out but who are excellent football players. They're fresh now, and they're in here against a tired team.
They're trying to work their way to the back of the bus.
Yeah, well, you got to be real special to get with those O-linemen.
They start somewhere, though. Start for Pruitt in the backup. Swings it out for Humphrey. And inside the 15. The backups have pretty much the same credentials that the starters have. More often than not, they were a high school All-America, probably set a record wherever they played ball, probably from this area. 28 Hurricanes from Dade County. And if you add up Dade and Broward County, Fort Lauderdale just to the north, right at half the team. So your recruiting budget, if you're Larry Coker, is gas money, and you know they'll pick up the occasional Californian or Texan. They just look out their back door and they've got next year's stars somewhere playing high school ball, somewhere within a 30-mile radius. Moss on this carry. Major League Baseball tomorrow night here on ESPN2 as A-Rod of the Rangers trying to play spoiler against the Oakland A's. Our coverage begins at 7 Eastern with baseball tonight. The hunt for October, 8 Eastern on ESPN2. Under 7 minutes to go and a 2nd and 6 from the 10. Canes had won 8 of the first 10 meetings, but they had lost 2 in a row. Crudup on a roll, looks up, wide open, middle of the end zone. Easy touchdown for the Canes. You couldn't be more open than Darnell Jenkins got.
And Larry Coker faces another small dilemma here as we watch Crudup, who's a marvelous athlete and a marvelous quarterback in his own right, and sort of expected to be the next starter. On a full sprint, watch him get his shoulders turned. Excellent work by his coach, Dan Werner, the quarterback coach, throwing the ball back across his body, which sometimes is regarded as a no-no.
No problem for Crudup. Petty makes it 38-3 Hurricanes. 6:39 to go. It's in the hands of the backups. And as they showed again, not much of a talent gap on that Miami roster.
ESPN2's College Football Saturday. Brought to you by Acura. Experience the performance today at your local Acura dealer.
21 unanswered Miami points here in the fourth quarter. They have blown it wide open, 38-3. For 65,825 in the Orange Bowl. And the Canes headed to a 3-0 start as they get set for Boston College, West Virginia, Florida State. Next 3 are going to be a little more of a challenge. Another touchback. And the Pirates, again, will start 80 yards away. Fellas, there is a burning issue I finally have a chance to address. And my question is, ¿Quién más macho? Who's tougher, Brock Berlin or his girlfriend? His girlfriend is Miss Louisiana, Brittany Rogers, who won $50,000 on Fear Factor after eating fermented squid guts, diving into a tub filled with 5,000 pounds of fish scales, and hanging on the back of an 18-wheeler, moving down the highway at 50 miles an hour.
It's a no-brainer.
That's easy. Is she in psychotherapy still?
Well, she can afford it now with the 50 grand. Not to say Brock isn't tough, but is his girlfriend even tougher?
And you know what they call that? Reality TV.
Oh, and a smart quarterback. You know, he's dating somebody who has moolah. She bets dinner. She's too tough to break up with.
She's got the correct change. The squid guts thing, that'd be my last.
I'd draw the line there.
I'd go just about anywhere except for with snakes. You throw anything around me with a snake, it's over.
Squid guts.
Well, okay. So we're in agreement.
That's over.
She's tough.
Had to get your ruling on that. And she's Miss Louisiana. What more could you ask for? Robinson, one of his best keepers of the night, up to the 36, a gain of 14.
She's got beauty and guts and squid guts.
Yeah, all 3.
That's a heck of a combination. And I'll tell you, the happiest guy on the field or in the booth just a moment ago was Rick Stockstill when Robinson hit the dirt and didn't take a lick. You don't want to lose your quarterback here. And I'm not even sure you want him out there, except that he just needs the work so desperately.
Yeah, he needs it. Yeah, I'd keep him out there.
And Larry Coker's problem, I started to talk about it a minute ago, when Miami gets the ball back, you want to run your offense with your backup quarterback so he can get some work, but then you get accused of running it up if you throw passes in the end zone. Well, you just run your offense, and John Thompson understands, and Coker wouldn't intentionally try to run it up, but they need to do that because the backups are going to have to win for them.
And they ran 3 or 4 plays up the middle of the field. You know, it wasn't like they've been trying to do a lot of drop back, throw it deep. You know, think about Larry Coker. What he does have going for him is a great football team that wants to get better all the time.
And history. Here's how far back you have to go to find the only coaches who have had a better start at the top division. More than a century. Larry Coker winning 24 of 25 his first 2 seasons on the job as head coach.
I don't think they had to play Virginia Tech.
Hey, but back then the Ivy League was football. You know, Yale,
Penn,
Harvard, Princeton,
Rutgers.
And you know, if you're a high school senior in this area around here, greatness attracts greatness. So you come on campus, you see the squad that's in there, and you want to be a part of that.
After the timeout, first down, East Carolina. Still with the short pass. Copper head of steam, and he's across midfield. So Terrence Copper with a 14-yard catch and run on his 7th catch of the night. May well be enough to keep him atop the national list of top receivers. 23 catches coming in the first 2 games. It's really an issue that we got into with Larry Coker yesterday. Mark it down on the scramble. The stereotype of the Miami Hurricane as opposed to the reality. And it really began with Butch Davis taking over this program after probation, after 4 national championships, but after the image of the university had been colored by so many off-the-field incidents.
Well, that's right. And Butch got here and he said, look, we're not going to take cheap shots. We're not going to wear fatigues on the road. We're just not going to do those things. We're going to operate with dignity and humility. Larry Coker picked it up where Butch left off. Great football teams, and when they get the penalty thing corrected, and they seem to have done somewhat better tonight, then you'll have the kind of program that they really want, top to bottom, and the kind that Donna Shalala was.
I think a lot of the players of that era, 80s and 90s, had it in their mind that they had to play that way, that it was part of the Miami mindset. They had to build what they considered a mystique with the outlaw image.
Well, I was the coach at Alabama in the Sugar Bowl after the '89 season, and Bernard Clark, who was the middle linebacker for Miami at the time, had been someone we had tried to recruit, and he and I had gotten to be friends. He came up and apologized. He said, Coach, I know that all that messing around looks funny, but we're just expected to do it, and we do it, but don't think that it's a personal insult. So they had good kids too, but they just thought that's what they were supposed to do.
There was one game that really symbolized that mindset. Think of the Cotton Bowl when they beat Texas up one side, down the other, 46-3, January 1st, 1991. But more memorable than that was 16 penalties, most of them personal fouls, and it turned out there was a bounty for cheap shots afterwards. It was considered the price of doing business. So maybe the logical conclusion of doing business that way was where they ended up, with a program that basically got totally out of control.
And now they have kids doing push-ups when they don't complete an interception on the field.
Well, that doesn't hurt. Throw on the run is incomplete, almost intercepted. That may take a while for Merriweather to get up.
Brendan Merriweather sold out there, and I'll tell you, that's coaching, because I watched that young man coached very hard all day Thursday to be aggressive, to be in the right place. He made that play because he was well coached, and he has the ability. And that's what you want to see from your young players as the game winds down. And again, you don't see a bunch of dancing and celebrating here. You just see good football, and that's a pleasure to watch.
Here's what you're really getting at is the Miami haters around the country have less to hate. They are not making themselves the Black Cats anymore, the Renegades. Nice catch here. Stretch and grab, and these balls out of bounds. 18 yards.
Kevin Roach. Nice catch by Kevin.
You know, we talk about all these players and the depth of Miami and where they are right now, but the real ultimate question for the Hurricanes is, where do they stack up against the rest of the country, right? I mean, can they win a national championship this year?
Pretty good, Craig. They stack up very well.
Kevin Fain with the fumble, another East Carolina turnover as Marcus Maxey comes away with a recovery.
57, Javon Nanton on the hit. 22, Kellen Jennings picking it up, wishing he could have gone the distance.
All turned into a fourth quarter nightmare for the Pirates. The very definition of a sleeping giant when Howard Schnellenberger took over. 1983 was the only time it was a surprise that Miami won the national championship. They made it a habit since then. 87 under Jimmy Johnson, 89 to 91 under Dennis Erickson. 2001, first year, Larry Coker takes over for Butch Davis. And no one will be surprised at all if they add another one. This makes it 24 straight at home, longest current home win streak in the country. Average margin pretty close to where they are now. 30 or more 19 times, 40 or more almost as often. They've cracked 60 4 times in this streak, which again goes back to 99 and the loss to Penn State, 27-23. Jason Geathers on the catch.
I can't watch Jarrett Payton, number 34, run the ball and not wish that his dad could be privileged to see his son play. Walter Payton, arguably the greatest football player ever. His son Jarrett has fought through the loss of his father and has continued and will graduate here in liberal arts.
Like, did you, in the Super Bowl when the Patriots played Walter Payton, at some point look across the field and go, my goodness, I'm on the same field? I'm the greatest runner ever.
They had an article that morning of the Super Bowl in the sports page down in New Orleans, and I've got it framed in my study. It said Peyton and James to run for glory. Walter breaking through the past and going to the glory. James trying to get there. I never got there. He did. And I just looked up to Walter for what he stood for. You know, his heart, his spirit, his determination, his guts. Every time we played them, I would watch Walter Payton and say, wow, this guy here is unbelievable.
He blocked. If the other team got an interception, he would run the guy down and he would make the tackle. He would jump up. He would pull up the 300-pounder that just drilled him. He would run back to the huddle. I've never seen anybody with his kind of energy full time.
You can almost put him at any position on the field. I mean, obviously, he's better suited physically for what he did. But as far as what he was able to do as a football player, whatever you ask, block, tackle, run, even throw it.
He was such a complete player, and he loved to play. It was just a contagious. The other guy that I think of that's a Chicago guy too is Ernie Banks. The way he played baseball, and he was farther back, but they call him Mr. Baseball, and his motto was "Let's play too." He just loved to play. Walter Payton loved to play, and it was contagious, and it was intimidating to the opposition.
Well, Isabel, for at least 3 hours tonight, is not anything these folks are worried about. They have enjoyed, finally, a hurricane blowout win, as they expected. 38-3 down to the final 2 and change. Robert Tillman, a true freshman out of Maxton, North Carolina, on this carry. So Miami now obviously is going to have a tougher test than this the rest of the way, and it will begin next week when they go to Boston College. ESPN will have that telecast. They also have a trip to Tallahassee, a trip to Blacksburg, Also on ESPN against Virginia Tech, Tennessee is here, and they close at Pittsburgh. So if Miami gets a 6th national championship, based on that schedule, they will definitely have earned their way there. Matchup tomorrow night on Sunday Night NFL Football. Bears-Vikings. Walter Payton's old team taking on Randy Moss, Dante Culpepper and company. NFL Primetime presented by Miller Lite begins evening at 7:30, 8:30 Eastern Time. Sunday Night Football on ESPN. And I bet Jarrett being parked right in front of the screen. The Arlington Heights, Illinois product that he is. Final minute and a half. Paul Trott, the starting quarterback a year ago, now backing up Desmond Robinson. Javon Nanton on the defensive line there for the Hurricanes. Now, for John Thompson, I think now after 3 games, he has a firm grasp of exactly how big the challenge he has inherited is. And he'll admit it's a little bigger than he thought.
That doesn't matter. What matters is that he's determined to get it done. He's enjoying the work. The most important thing he said to us, I'm loving being the head coach. I love working. We got really good young men. I enjoy working with them. We're going to get this job done. That's what matters.
Things are in place for them academically. They're in the top 25 programs in the country as far as the average GPA for the football team. Miami returned by Darnell Jenkins. 57-yard punt. So he likes the caliber of kid. Now it's a matter of making the Pirates he has and the Pirates of the future better football players. All right. Who will win it all? OU, Miami, Ohio State, USC, Florida State. Probably the best 5 candidates at the moment.
I'm going to give you something to throw a dart at. I believe right now, after watching all the games and the teams play, I'd put USC at the top, Oklahoma behind them, with Florida State maybe at 3rd. Everybody has something that's wrong. Some team, Oklahoma's not running the ball well. Everybody has something, some weakness.
The struggles of Ohio State the last 2 weeks, they can't possibly have 2 years of nothing but good luck. That's what they had last year and what they've had so far this year.
Well, allow me to point out that when you win 9 as they have last year and this year, in cliffhangers, that is not luck. And if I had not been on some great teams and had the privilege of winning again and again, people kept saying, yeah, the only reason they win is because they think they're supposed to. You're exactly right. Those guys expect to win. They're going to be hard to beat, even though they do have weaknesses.
They win out of habit. Miami last week won out of habit.
Expect to win.
Michigan will beat Ohio State at the end of the year. Got lunch on that.
Michigan ought to be on that list, and the candidate is any. Well, I had said Ohio State coming into the year just based on the number of returning starters, but then that included Claret, who's now out of the picture. Tell you what, I haven't been more impressed than anybody than I have by Florida State, having seen them in person.
The best football team we've seen by far was Florida State. Tonight, Miami's been impressive in putting the hammer down against somebody that they ought to be able to beat. I think Miami and Ohio State have a good chance to get back to that thing. I really do. I think they'll be tough to beat because they believe that they're supposed to win.
This one's over. 35 straight now in the regular season, 24 straight in the Orange Bowl with deadly balance. 234 on the ground, 215 through the air by Brock Berlin, who is with Rob Stone.
Well, Brock, as you head into Big East play now, what are some of the things offensively you guys take away from today's game?
Well, you know, the big thing is I thank the Lord that he kept everybody safe out here tonight, no major injuries. But I just think that, you know, little mistakes, you know, we got to improve on, some penalties, and just executing when we need to. And we'll watch the film and see how it goes.
And now you got to settle a bet for us. There was a big debate upstairs. Who's tougher, you or your girlfriend?
I don't know. You have to ask her.
No squid guts eaten for you?
There's no squid guts eaten for me.
All right, thanks, man.
Well, that's very disappointing, actually. Figured he'd head to the nearest steaming bowl of fermented squid gut. Not just to the locker room. 38-3, Miami wins. For Bill Curry, Craig James, Rob Stone, Dave Barnett. Right now, we'll send you back to Matt Weiner in the studio.